Jamaica is still reeling from the devastation of Hurricane Melissa, a storm that has left many families displaced, communities shaken, and many of our schools struggling to rebuild. Football often brings us joy, rivalry, and celebration, but this week it also brings us perspective. Our student athletes, coaches, and schools are facing challenges far beyond the pitch. Today we stand in solidarity to remember that schoolboy football isn't just about competition, it's about community, resilience, and hope. Good evening and welcome to High School Pitchside. I'm Jordan Fort. The regular gang is all good and well, but I stand in for Gio Ronaldo and Janae. In today's episode, we bring you some of the best moments of High School Pitchside. But first, we discuss the impact of Hurricane Melissa on the schoolboy football season, which has currently been halted due to the impact of the storm. Now, with the country in recovery mode and schools still putting the pieces together following the passage of Hurricane Melissa, the Intersecondary School Sports Association ISSA says it is weighing the options before deciding on the future of the 2025 schoolboy football season. ISSA's competitions director Ewan Scott says they are conducting a full assessment of the schools before coming to a decision.
Well, the only thing I would say is that the committee will meet to decide the direction that we're going in terms of schoolboy football as we concentrate on the resumption of regular school activities.
With various sporting events to contend with in the ISSA sports calendar, Scott says the decision will be made in a timely manner to prevent any clashes between schoolboy football and other ISSA events.
That's why we're gonna meet to look at all the possibilities to see how feasible it is to get competition started and finish this side, because as you know, at ISSA we have different sports for different set out for the calendar year.
Right.
So we're gonna look at all the possibilities and see how best to fit things in and make a decision as to which way we head to.
With urban schools having significantly less damage than rural schools, Scott dismissed any suggestion of having the corporate area Manning Cup being restarted and completed without the completion of the rural area Da Costa Cup.
I think we always hear Manning and Da Costa and not Manning Cup or Da Costa Cup. So right. To me, I wouldn't want to say one play without the other.
With that, we go to a break. When we return, we look at one of the schools which suffered significant damage in St. James, Malden High.
We want a piece for Jamaica. Yeah. Yo, what are you?
Oh man, none of that. Oh, no, brother, no, man.
You see you ever play ref? Dirty game,
yeah, but I look a bad game. No, I said, place you come from, brother. I want to live good, man. I want to live good, Bridging. The shake on, I can play a little bad, Bridging.
Really have to shake on?
Yeah, man, and a badness, Bridging. Just live good, man.
Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yeah.
Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
Hey everybody, I'm Yendi, and this is Odyssey with Yendi. In this space, we connect with some of your favorite people as they share their journeys. Here we have some unfiltered conversations as we deep dive into their inspirations, motivations, and experiences to inspire our own life journey.
Now, Malden High is one of several schools across Western Jamaica to suffer from the passage of Hurricane Melissa last Tuesday. Our producer, Valentino Thompson, spoke with head coach of Malden, Dylan Telwell.
Personally, what has the experience been for you?
The experience, one that I never can even explain, because you know that you're at your home, and it's like everything around you, and also what you have and what you achieved so many years to save and buy, either a window or a door, it just disappear like that, and rooftop going away, and it is just a big disaster, even in my community right now.
All right. Have you suffered any personal loss or damage?
Yeah, right now I'm trying to get back a tank up now. I lose 2 tanks in back glass on my car. Some windows smashed out. I lose some stuff. You know, once you have life, things that get better. It does take a little bit of time.
Right. And what about the school, the infrastructure of Malden High?
I only get some information there that the school knows a lot based on, I think, a side of the building blow down. A container that's like touch up here that just moved from the area where it was the school wall at the front blew down. I think the school suffers somewhat, but it's just rumors I'm hearing. I don't go there to just to see what happened. I just see what happened from the person that I've run up into.
Okay. And I
the
know
roadway to go to the school, I think some parts cut off. I don't think you can access to go to the school at this time.
Okay. I know that communication is a big issue. I mean, I'm lucky to call you and get you, and I appreciate it. And I hope that the family and friends and the school community remain safe. But what about the players? Have you had any interaction with them to see how they're doing?
No, because as I said before, the service is crazy. The service is crazy. I don't communicate, but I know most of them is from the country area. I know the country here even get it more because there's more trees and things and all of that. So I think they get it more from that side. It's more in the country now. The school is in the country. I mean, like in Mobile town here. So I'm closer to the town. So I know it's crazy on them right now to either. You know, I plan to reach out to them probably today. It's just the service is my problem.
Yes.
The communication. It's crazy.
Yeah, man,
when I hear my phone ring a while ago, I was surprised because I don't expect calls.
Right, and I've been trying since yesterday to get to you. So it's just it seems this might be a good sign that it's on its way back. So hopefully soon it will be restored.
Yeah. Sure.
Right. So regarding with all that has affected the school and you're not sure about the players yet, but this would definitely rule out maybe getting back together, training, or even starting the competition.
Yeah. You know, we this is the first time in our history we reach round of 16. We reached the interzone round last season. Now we make a next step to the round of 16, and it's a major accomplishment for the school and the community and supporters and families. No doubt, we've you know with a major milestone and this to happen, which you're trying to progress and move even further in the tournament, and this happened.
Right.
It's crazy because to get back a team together right now, to tell you it's gonna be super difficult. Right. Super difficult. But the only thing I can do is just, if Issa decide to even communicate with me, because I talked to Mr. Scott about 3 days ago, because I was in the town area, which service is more there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't get any information based on when the tournament even can kick off to start. Or they can try to see if I can get back my players together. Or they can try to see who is available and who is really going through a phase. You know. So whenever Issa said that, they can try and hopefully I can find a team to continue.
Right. I mean,
it's like everything around you and also what you have and what you achieved so many years to save and buy either a window or a door, it just disappear like that and rooftop going away, and it is just a big disaster even in my community right now.
Right. Have you suffered any personal loss or damage?
Yeah, right now I'm trying to get back a tank up now. I lose 2 tanks in back glass on my car. Some windows mashed out. I lose some stuff. You know, once you have life, things that get better. It does take a little bit of time.
Right. And what about the school, the infrastructure of Malden High?
I only get some information there that the school knows a lot based on, I think, a side of the building blow down. A container that's like touch up here that just moved from the area where it was school wall at the front blew down. I think the school suffers somewhat, but it's just rumors I'm hearing. I don't go there to just to see what happened. I just see what happened from the person that I've run up into.
Okay. And I
the
know
roadway to go to the school, I think some parts cut off. I don't think you can access to go to the school at this time.
Okay. I know that communication is a big issue. I mean, I'm lucky to call you and get you, and I appreciate it. And I hope that the family and friends and the school community remain safe. But what about the players? Have you had any interaction with them to see how they're doing?
No, because as I said before, the service is crazy. The service is crazy. I don't communicate, but I know most of them is from the country area. I know the country here even get it more because there's more trees and things and all of that. So I think they get it more from that side. It's more in the country now. The school is in the country. I mean, like in Mobile town here. So I'm closer to the town. So I know it's crazy on them right now to either. You know, I plan to reach out to them probably today. It's just the service is my problem.
Yes.
The communication. It's crazy.
Yeah, man,
when I hear my phone ring a while ago, I was surprised because I don't expect calls.
Right, and I've been trying since yesterday to get to you. So it's just it seems this might be a good sign that it's on its way back. So hopefully soon it will be restored.
Yeah. Sure.
Right. So regarding with all that has affected the school and you're not sure about the players yet, but this would definitely rule out maybe getting back together, training, or even starting the competition.
Yeah. You know, we this is the first time in our history we reach round of 16. We reached the interzone round last season. Now we make a next step to the round of 16, and it's a major accomplishment for the school and the community and supporters and families. No doubt, we've you know with a major milestone and this to happen, which you're trying to progress and move even further in the tournament, and this happened.
Right.
It's crazy because to get back a team together right now, to tell you it's gonna be super difficult. Right. Super difficult. But the only thing I can do is just if it's a decide to even communicate it.
I had an opportunity to firsthand see the devastation that this record Category 5 hurricane has caused on the nation. Let me reassure you, Jamaica, let me reassure you, my customers, that we here at JPS stand committed to work safely 24/7 to get the power restored.
Well, as for me personally, mess up totally. don't blow off house full of water, set to your thing. But as a worker of the company, I have to be out here to help. But I will stick to the task to make this be a reality where people get a light and be happy again once more. JPS, love you.
It has been a very terrible situation in Montego Bay, especially where I come from. I am from Friendship. The storm Melissa has destroyed a lot of stuff, but nevertheless, as a worker, I am following my duty. I'm here to show up and to deliver, and I'm here to assist in recovering, and whatever it takes, we want Jamaica to know that we are here and we are moving forward, and there is hope.
Where it all begins. The quest to become great. Inspired by those who went before them, these four boys dream of playing in the ISSA schoolboy football competitions.
Will he score this for Casey? Will he score? It's a shot, it's a goal!
And it's a shot, and it's a goal! And Casey has won the Manning Cup, and they will play Clarendon College in the Olivia Shield. And that's what you love to see. They may be rivals, but the camaraderie is what it's all about. Can't wait for the final.
When the bus the man, I want to watch my son up play finals on CBM, you know.
But mums, you can't watch it on CBM website, man.
Come on, my son score, my son score, my son score, my son score.
Greatness begins here.
We're back with you on a high school pitch side. Now, St. Elizabeth Technical High School, STETS, is one of several schools that felt the wrath of Hurricane Melissa. The five-time Da Costa Cup champions suffered significant damage to the dormitories, gym and classrooms. Da Costa Cup head coach Omar Wedderburn says the school is currently picking up the pieces after the storm.
Well, the school damage real bad, but outside and separate apart from the school, you have players that the parents and the host really damaged by the hurricane. So, we are here trying to start get back the school up and running, and also you have parents trying to come back on their feet just the same way, because a lot of homeless people now is out here. So, I also get affected by the hurricane, my family house, But at the same time, we have to here doing what we're doing, try to get things up and running. So it's a big damage to everybody, both mentally, physically, psychologically.
Okay, and I understand that the community is rallying around the school. There's some cleanup work going on at the school at the moment. Can you talk to me about that?
Yes, we try. We make an announcement, and we also invite in the parents and students, and we start our major cleanup yesterday. So we have more cleanup here. It was a tremendous day yesterday with the work that we get here done at STETS.
Okay, and you spoke about the players being affected. Have you managed to communicate with them to see the nature of how badly they have been affected? I know that communication would have been difficult given that networks have been down.
Not all, but majority. And as I said before, some of the extent they cannot really talk about it to the fullest, because they are not the breadwinners in the family. They only can talk about what they see, but the real pressure of it is not for them, not with them, So they only can talk about it to an extent, as I said before.
Right. And I know that football is a unifying sport, and everyone would have been looking forward to schoolboy football. STETS, you have been doing well up to the point of the season being paused. Are there any hopes that, amidst this destruction, that football might come back soon?
Honestly, I don't know. That is really a business. That is a business. So I'm here just thinking about getting up our house back in order, and things like that. So the football is the problem right now.
Right. I understand that the school dorm and gym were damaged.
Yes, and some teachers catches and things.
Okay. All right. So what's the overall feeling of the community now, over a week after the hurricane?
Honestly, to me, it's no different from the day after the hurricane, because you still see flat card, people asking for a bottle of water, people asking for $50. It's a scene where I never know how to experience this, trust me.
All right. Just finally, coach, did you have you been in contact with any other coach or schools? I mean, spoke with Malden, representatives from Malden yesterday. They were also damaged.
We have a rural coaching group, quite a few of us is in the group. I think Coach Pastor Reynolds from Kingston is the only Manning Cup coach in the group. So, and Coach Patrick, reach out to each other. Quite a few coaches, to be honest.
Okay. And that brotherhood, so to speak, is certainly a source of strength and comfort in this time.
Yes, to be honest, cause at least at times that really get your mind off of the problem, because sometimes you have to step away from the problem to find solution to solve it,
It's now time for another break. When we return, we look back at some of our best segments so far this season. Where it all begins. The quest to become great. Inspired by those who went before them, these four boys dream of playing in the ISSA schoolboy football competitions.
Will he score this for Casey? Will he score? It's a shot, it's a goal!
And it's a shot, and it's a goal! And Casey has won the Manning Cup, and they will play Clarendon College in the Olivia Shield. And that's what you love to see. They may be rivals, but the camaraderie is what it's all about. Can't wait for the final.
When the bus them man, I want to watch my son up play finals on CBM,
But mums, you can't watch it on CBM website, man.
Come on, my son score, my son score, my son score, my son score.
Greatness begins here.
Welcome back to High School Pitchside now. Thanks for staying with us. It's time to turn to some of our best segments of High School Pitchside. Our schoolboy football commentator and analyst, Leger Williams, joined us at the start of the Manning Cup round of 16. The prediction guru gave us his power rankings of the top Manning Cup schools and what they need to do to win the competition. Here's a reminder of his selections.
Let's have a look at his top 5 teams. Kingston College in the first, Jamaica College following, St. Catherine High, Excelsior in 4th. I'm surprised to see that in 4th. And St. Andrew Technical. Leger, talk to me about your ranking for this one, especially why you have Excelsior in 4th.
Well, I think when it comes down to this ranking, it was a little bit, I won't say more difficult than the Da Costa Cup, but it was difficult because Mona were right there for me. It was either them or Stats and Excelsior all in like a group. But I decided to go with Stats and Excelsior 5th and 4th. Stats, I think they're Stats. They're always in and around it. They're always a difficult team to play against. Philip Williams, very experienced. They need to sort out a couple of things. I think they need to find a talisman, a player that can drag them through games. We saw yesterday Shankina Grattan do it, get them a win against Tivoli in the round of 16, but it remains to be seen if he can continue to do that. With Excelsior, you said you were a bit surprised. I think Excelsior have been one of the best teams in schoolboy football, well, at least the Manning Cup, the past 2 seasons now. A bit unfortunate last season, injuries made them tail off a bit. But I think when you speak about Excelsior's attacking talent, especially Kimarley Scott, who was the Manning Cup's leading goal scorer last season, Damarley Williams, a national under-17 representative, Kivan Saman, who has JPL experience with Arnett, those are three of the best attackers in schoolboy football, and they have talent elsewhere as well, including central defenders who are with the national under-17 program now. So Excelsior is a very talented team. They are a team that can cause a lot of problems, a very physical team, very technically adept as well, and very good, well coached as well with Kean Broderick. So Excelsior, I think, are a very good team, but they need to work, I would say, on getting the ball to their attackers a bit more effectively. That's a big tactical discussion that we probably don't have time for, but I'll summarize it with that. St. Catherine, number 3, last season's beaten finalists. I think they're there, but they just have a small tweak. When they play against teams, they're a very transition-heavy team. And pardon the analogy, but Anandi Iraola is the head coach for Bournemouth in the English Premier League. He was once asked why his teams don't score as many goals as the chances they create. And he said it pretty simply. He said the players are tired because they play this transition-heavy, high-pressing system similar to St. Catherine. And Jenny, you're an athlete. You know that when you're tired, you aren't clear of mind.
Yeah.
So when St. Catherine players get in these positions, often we see them miss a lot of chances that they create. That's something I think they need to work on, getting more control, slowing play down, and they'll be able to finish their chances and put away teams more effectively. The top 2, it's a bit boring, but it's something we've grown to expect. JC and KC, I've given KC the edge over JC, but as I said, power ranking, it can move up and down.
Well, Jay, I'm joined by Giovanni and Daniel, and they have a couple questions that they want to ask you based off of your power rankings.
Jay, looking at your power rankings so far, as a fellow Arsenal fan, I don't want to ever question the status as a prediction guru. However, I realize in the Costa Cup, you never had McGrath, and in the Manning Cup, you did not have Mona. A lot of people like Mona. I won't tell you my personal thoughts on Mona, but a lot of people like Mona. Big school. So see, now we're talking about the Manning Cup now. Why no Mona in the top 5?
I think that Mona as a team, they have weaknesses. They aren't as complete as prior seasons when they won the Walker Cup last season or the Manning Cup the season before that. The reason why Mona have been performing at such a high level, one, is because they're very well drilled and coached. All of these players play together. But also, in my opinion, they have borderline the best player in the competition, the leading goal scorer so far in Sean Layton. So is that going to be enough for them to go all the way? Possibly. Is that going to be enough for them to be in the score rankings right now? I don't think so.
But they're also unbeaten so far. So, as in, that doesn't give you any sort of oomph to push them into that top 5?
As I said, it was in my thoughts. They're not even 6. They're 5.5 right now. They're very close.
Someone are very close to the top 5.
If we do these power rankings next week, they could push so high.
Probably change.
Exactly.
And just briefly, why no McGrath in the Costa Cup? I know we're in Manning Cup, but just briefly, because we already passed that part. But why no McGrath?
I think they lost their talisman from last season. I think that they're still a very well coached team with Jermaine Thomas. They got a win over Manchester yesterday.
They beat that team in their top 5.
Yeah, but they've also shown weakness from before in the competition. So the Costa Cup is also very hard to really match up. But I think that McGrath, although a very good team, I still don't think that they have everything to go all the way into the Costa Cup this season.
Okay.
Yeah, DJ, I'd just like to ask you what about Calabar? Calabar is still one of the, we have only lost once, which is against Mona High School, and they won yesterday. Have you seen enough to say that Calabar might have a sneaking chance to win?
To win the Manning Cup, possibly no. I'm wondering if you brought up Calabar because I'm wearing green, or my alma mater champion. But besides the point, what I will say though, Calabar are a team that crossed my mind. However, I'm still a little bit, on the fence with them. Also, I will say though, they're an extremely well coached team. They have one of the most, I would say, diverse tactical setups so far I've seen in all of schoolboy football. What they do with their double false nines, wingers pushing high to get them in advantageous areas. I really love it, but I'm still on the fence with them.
Start your journey with a Jane Bank Small Business Loan with small business loans with as little as $10,000 and up to $4 million.
The time is 8:30.
Hey everybody, I'm Yendi, and this is Odyssey with Yendi. In this space, we connect with some of your favorite people as they share their journeys. Here we have some unfiltered conversations as we deep dive into their inspirations, motivations, and experiences to inspire our own life journey.
And that's what you love to see. They may be rivals, but the camaraderie is what it's all about. Can't wait for the final. Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins, and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's a live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yeah. Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central. All right, we're back with you now on a high school pitch side. Now, as we throw back to some of our top moments from the show from previous episodes, Team Talk featured Clarendon College, who are setting about their business quietly in pursuit of the Da Costa Cup title. Clarendon College are progressing through the season without adding any pressure of lifting silverware. For new head coach Devon Anderson, he's adjusting to his role game by game.
Most definitely, as I said, just to make my own mark as a coach. Step out of my comfort zone, so to speak, Manning Cup, and venture in a new environment, which I'm enjoying the cool weather and, by winning games. And that's one of the most important things, and I can see the kids transitioning each game, each level we go, they're stepping up. We have a young bunch, and we look forward to having them for the next 3 years, and kudos to them. They're doing well so far, and they will continue to do well. The
former Heidel coach is focused on adding his touch to the smooth passing game instilled by his predecessor Lenny Hyde. Anderson's philosophy is a high-press system he hopes will reflect in this team.
I put my mark on it without saying much, because if I say much, and then you would know what to expect and when to. Most definitely a twist from where I'm coming from to here, and I combine both style and both philosophy, and you see the fruit of it. Most people never really expect us to be one of the unbeaten out of 3 teams right now. But we are moving on now, as the Jefferson said, to good times.
Well, the progress that I have seen so far, it's good. A lot of personal issues, but I think the players are coming on. They're adapting to the coach's instructions and on and off the field. So I think going forward, I think they'll do fairly well.
Very good, because he's a very good coach, Come out here and teach us all the time. You follow instructions well.
The squad is a young one, with at least 9 players qualified to play at the under-16 level. While not attaching the favourites tag to themselves, they don't consider themselves to be underdogs.
Well, I don't like the terminology underdog. Nevertheless, competitive. Everybody know me as a coach and my philosophy and where football is concerned. Age is just a number for me and the kids. I mean, we are going for every game just the same. To win, to win, to win.
Justin Haynes is one of Clarendon College's leading scorers, netting 5 of his team's 30 goals this season. He says reggae boy Kaheem Dixon, who was a standout for Clarendon College, is his inspiration.
He went out there, get called up, always performing. That inspired me enough.
Does he keep contact?
Yeah, talk over the phone. Told me that focus every minute. You are the senior man, so you can't make players in slack up.
CC have only conceded 2 goals so far this season, making them one of the top defensive teams. They take pride in maintaining clean sheets.
Well, I feel very happy about that. As I know, it's a goal set from before the season.
The strongest area of the pitch is the forward line, to be honest, but the defensive line has been great since season. The goalkeepers have been doing fairly well. I think most clean sheets for the season, Clarendon College goalkeeper has it.
Next up for Clarendon College is Port Antonio High, who they face at home in the final round of 32 game. A draw will be good enough to see them through, as they lead Group 6 with 4 points, with Dintil second trailing on goal difference.
The Powerade Team Talk, starting with the Powerade tip of the week. Everybody is different. Some players sweat more than others. Learn how much Powerade you personally need to drink by tracking how you feel before and after games.
The rebranded Heart NSTA Trust offers more than just skills training. Come to us for prior learning assessment to get certified without the need to attend classes. Let us provide the guidance and mentorship you need to start your own company through our entrepreneurship and business development services. Access our literacy and numeracy training through the High School Diploma Equivalency Program. We are Jamaica's Human Development Agency.
Every dream conquered is another dream gained. I land and I fly again like a jet plane. Headed straight in your direction, 'cause I'm wiser, one step closer. I'm winning 'cause I work so hard. And the music keeps on playing, and the people them I say we are my show tonight. Oh, what a feeling, don't stop dreaming. Keep on believing in the power of the feeling. Whatever you want, take a chance. Song in your heart, step in your dance. You got a spark, don't put it down, shine your lights on.
It's time!
Welcome to High School Pitchside. We have another fascinating episode for you.
More matches, more big clashes.
Let's talk about some of the big rivalries coming up this week.
More of your favorite features.
And trust me, you won't fall asleep in this history class.
And of course, we always want to hear from you.
Hear from your alma mater's players and coaches in Team Talk.
You know we can't leave you out. So send us your messages on social media and watch us react on FanView.
And you know we love a good little debate, right, Gio?
We've got you covered all season long on High School Pitchside.
High School Pitchside, your ultimate guide to all things schoolboy football, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV. Welcome back now to High School Pitchside. Now, what's High School Pitchside without a good debate? Here's a flashback to Daniel Bent and Giovanni Brady going toe-to-toe.
This week, Daniel and Gio will go at it. Is schoolboy football missing a star name this season? And here's the context, guys. With the likes of Kaheem Dixon and Dejon Whisper Richards being crowd favorites a few seasons ago, can we say that we are missing, or is there a few players that now we feel fill venues just like them? And who am I going to start with this week? Gio. Okay, your 1 minute begins now.
All right, so repeat the question. Are there any star players?
Are there any star players that we can see in schoolboy football this season?
I think there are star players in schoolboy football this season. I think probably not. All right, so we have to always talk about Whisper. Not of the name of a Whisper, but they are star players. And who comes to mind is another Phoenix product. DJ mentioned earlier. I mentioned earlier Sean Layton at Mona. Leading goal scorer for Mona. A big part of the reason why Mona is as far as they are right now. So very standout player. A player like Kimberly Scott at Excelsior, who has been there for a long time and is not the prime of his power. DJ also mentioned Doreen Watson, a player that is scoring goals for fun and is probably at the peak of his schoolboy football career at Glenmore. So they are star players in the competition. We have to remember that sometimes we look back and we say, oh, Dujon, we can't believe whether Dujon Whisper Richards. But remember at the start of that season, not everyone knew who Dujon Whisper Richards was. As the season progressed, those performances against Mona, who was coached by his... my God. I need more time.
He was just getting to it. But Daniel, your 1 minute begins right now.
For the first time, I want to agree with Gio. Say yes, schoolboy football is missing a massive crowd bringer. As you mentioned, that Kaim Dixon Whisper, they brought houses on fire, stadiums on fire. They filled venues. And if we were to even go back to the 2010, the Triple Crown team with JC, Ashani Walker was a crowd favorite. In 2009, Marvin Missaman Morgan of St. George's College. A lot of persons went out to watch him. Yes, you have some normal persons, Leighton, as you mentioned, but yeah, without these so-called star players, it's a bit lacking. But I guess in probably next season we probably might see somebody that can bring the house on fire.
Disagree with me?
No, I try to agree with you for the first time.
Wait, that's not how the debate goes. Time. Okay.
Can I rebut? No rebuttal?
Let me ask my producer. Do we have any rebuttals? Okay, yes, you can rebut.
Okay, so the one thing I was going to say to end my point was, I remember now we're looking back at these players after seeing what they would have done.
He's not rebutting. He's ending the point.
We're looking back at a Whisper after what Whisper would have done and say, oh, that big player. But remember, Whisper had to build his name that season throughout the course of that season, with the narrative and the story of that season. So I'm expecting the likes of Leighton, if Mona makes it far into competition, if he can have a performance like that Whisper had against Clarendon College, then we say, yo, this ball is a ball I need to go and see. It's one of the standout players in Manning Cup.
Okay, well, guys, I'm going to, yes, Daniel.
Jamon Lyle and Jabari Howell also comes to mind as it relates to star quality. There are players that, especially Lyle, at his age, he's talked about a lot. Jabari has grown over the years. So those three, gang of three, and gang of four.
But the big question is, guys, do they stand out to the point that people they're going to bring out those JC fans, they're going to bring out those Mona fans to come and watch games? And even people who don't even support the team any at all.
It's kind of difficult to understand answer, because if you look at the level of the past players like the Whisper and so forth, it's their level. I don't think so. For me.
Okay, well, the result lies in my hands as usual. And this week, the winner is, drum roll please, Giovanni. Now, let me give my reason. Now, star player, the question asks, is there any star player this season? The question didn't ask, is there any star player this season, or stars like the previous seasons, right? And I do think that there are players who have and are showing their quality this season, with the likes of Orion Watson, Sean Layton, Whisper and Kaim.
Different level.
They had years, well, I wouldn't say Whisper, but Kaim got time to show his star quality.
Because Kaim scored in the game where KC beat.
Yes, right. And these are athletes that were also personalities. They weren't just footballers, right? So probably because we aren't seeing the charismatic actions from a Sean Layton or a Oreen, that's why we aren't talking about them. But we do have stars in the schoolboy football season, and it's just a matter of time for them to also probably express themselves. The competition also isn't the same now than it was then. So there's a lot of factors.
Protect
Protecting Jamaica's borders is a key priority for the Jamaica Customs Agency. The JCA will remain vigilant and resolute in effectively fulfilling this mandate. The time brought to you by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
8:45.
Every dream conquered is another dream gained. I land and I fly again like a jet plane. Headed straight in your direction. 'Cause I'm wiser, one step closer. I'm winning 'cause I work so hard. And the music keeps on playing, and the people them I say we are my show tonight.
Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins, and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yeah. Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central. We're into our final segment for this week, a throwback to history class with former Jamaica College goalkeeper Courtney Dowdy, who won the Manning Cup in 2013 and 2014.
We're going to, again, take us back to the 2013 and the 2014 season. The doubles. Number one, the Manning Cup. It's not an easy trophy to repeat in, but you repeated, and you also repeated in the Olivier Shield crown. So take us back to those memories.
When you look at the season 2014, we started out with Miguel Coley. It was his first season. We had Mr. Alfred Henry the year before. He came in with his philosophy. He for us as players playing under a new coach, we were not scared. He was like a big brother. And we all wanted the goal at the end of the season to win the Manning Cup. If I tell you that team that year, that 2013 team, there's a lot of things about that team, but we had one goal, and that was to win the Manning Cup.
Hold on, before you even go, Ginny, I just realized the boss outfit, Is that why you come here decked out in full blue?
Well, not necessarily. I'm also a teacher. I teach at Jamaica College, so I'm always in blue. I'm always in blue.
So it's a true blue. True blue. You're the real definition of true blue.
Yes, I'm always in blue.
All right, Ginny, you take the floor.
Let's rewind back to that time. JC is always known for the high quality players on the team. That team was loaded with talent back in your time in Junior Flemings, and yourself, a goalkeeper, I don't know if we mentioned that you were stopping the shots, and you still are stopping the shots now in your time. Just run through back in that time. How was the camaraderie with the team, especially being under the helm of Miguel Coley?
I mean, a lot of things happened that year. I can talk about it now because it's so long ago.
Yes.
A lot of things happened, especially those 2 years. Most of the team, we weren't friends.
Wow.
Yes, and
wow.
At the end of the season, we had a talk without coach, without everybody, and as a gentleman. Matter of fact, it was the last game before, or Oliver Shield, the last training session before that game, in 2013. We had a sit down, and we made mention, without the coaches, and we had a talk. We said, gentlemen, look where we are, and that man don't talk. But on the field, you never know.
Yeah.
If somebody should get hurt, the same person running over there to defend him. So and we understand, our persons understood the assignment. We went out there each and every game, and we played with our hearts. We played together, and that year, that 2013 team set up for everything else after that.
On that note, Coach, again, yourself leading from the back in the goal. You also had Junior Fleming.
Yes.
You had Rafiq Bryan, Ronaldo Brown, etc., etc., etc. You mentioned that you guys weren't necessarily the best of friends.
Yes.
How integral then was Coach Coley? As you mentioned, it was his first year. How integral was his role, keeping you guys in check, keeping you guys somewhat professional because you're still schoolers? How integral was his role?
And I mean, Coach didn't know until the last game. You know, he couldn't believe. He called Mr. Forbes, the manager, and Mr. Forbes raced the training that day and couldn't believe that, you know, that this was going on. And as I say, if he weren't a part of the team, he would know that this is going on and this is actually, hey, this team playing together each and every game, you would know.
I'm glad that you brought that up because you speak pretty confidently. Can you remind me of the captain back in...
Junior Flemings. Junior Flemings were captain, and he set the foundation. You know, he was a part of the under-17 team that went to the World Cup that time, and you know, that level of leadership he brought back to us was really good.
Definitely.
You played Wolmer's, who is so near and dear to my heart, in that final. When Jaheel Hyde put those 2 goals past you, Mr. Dowdy, what was going through your mind at that time?
I mean, like I was saying, whoa.
Tell the truth. You know?
No, I'm telling you, I'll always be the truth. I'm like, whoa, we're in the Manning Cup finals, and I feel like, oh, whoa, is this slipping away? You know, but when we went to extra time, you know, the word, not even say Coach Coley, but Junior Flemings, he was saying that, gentlemen, this is our moment. You know, this is our opportunity. This is our show. Let us do it. And, you know, Coach will repeat and say, hey, gentlemen, it's now or never. You know, and that in itself, it showed that the coach have confidence in us. You know, and I think we went out there. It was a really tough game. I can tell you that probably one of our toughest game. Probably in 2013 and 2014, but I think we as I said, we knew what we wanted.
Yeah.
You know, we knew what we wanted, and we decided to leave everything out there.
I'm glad you brought that up because in 2014 you would have played Charlie Smith 1 year later, right? And won 2-1. Can you compare 2014 to 2013? Because it seems as if 2013 was a bit emotional, right?
Yeah,
was it synonymous in 2014?
I mean, 2013, I think, was probably a make or break season for us. You know, 2014 was a little bit more relaxed. You know, we in that year we got some more reinforcement, and they introduced a Super Cup as well. You know, so we had more confidence going into that finals because we were basically in all finals in 2014. The Manning Cup finals, the Walker Cup finals, the Super Cup finals. We were in everything. So I think there was more confidence in that year.
I'm glad you brought that up because now you've transitioned from the player to the coach and you've been in finals, right?
Yes.
Now you're in the Jamaica Premier League coaching, Waterhouse, you're at JC teaching. Can you talk about the transition from player to professional and how integral was everything that you learned in your tenure, especially as a champion, right? How it has translated in your professional career?
So upon leaving Jamaica College, I got a scholarship to GC Foster, you know, and that was instrumental through Davian Ferguson, who's the current head coach at JC, you know, and I decided that, hey, I couldn't play anymore. I got an injury in my right knee. I did meniscus surgery, and I said to myself that I can't play anymore, so how can I give back, you know, and I decided to go into coaching. I took what I learned from Miguel Coley, Alfred Henry, you know, save Davian Ferguson, and I kind of put it together, you know, and Xavier Gilbert as well. Xavier Gilbert has played a critical and important part in my life, you know. He has trusted me with Fraser's Whip the last 2 seasons. And
and you're champions in the Women's Premier League. So
definitely. Definitely.
Let me, before I get to Fraser's Whip, Coach, you're still fairly young, and is it how bad is your knee still? You said that you had to stop playing, but how bad is it now? Is it still preventing you from being a professional, or is it you just have different interests now?
Well, probably different interests, but there's pain here and there. You know, I think for me, it's when I was doing recovery, I thought probably rushed it a little bit too early. You know, I was doing with my recovery, Jason Bojo Henry. You know, he kind of saved me after that. But
big up Bojo.
Yeah, big up Bojo every time. You know? So he kind of saved me after that. But I think it's just different interests at the moment. Truly.
Coaching again. How do you compare, or what have you learned as it relates to coaching men versus coaching women for Fraser's Whip? What are the differences that you have noticed? The
difference, I think that the female really, they listen more. you know, they tend to listen more. Sometimes the male, oh coach, you do that, you know, but female tend to listen more. And for me, I think it's they adapt a little bit more and they're willing to learn. There's less start back in terms of, you know, coach, but this don't make sense, and, you know, but it's not for me. It's not for me.
Now, you are in your off season, of course, going into the 2026 Jamaica Women's Premier League season. How confident are you in a repeat?
Pretty confident. I'm pretty confident. You know, we have retained players. We have about 9 players who left to take up scholarships overseas. Nice. And for me, that's the joy at the end of the season. Not necessarily winning, but to see the girls getting an opportunity to leave.
And I want to go back to Jamaica College because a lot of Manning Cup action is happening, and I know this is your favorite time of the year. Yes. You're at your old school, you're with the boys. How confident are you with this Jamaica College team, and do you see them going all the way? I got to talk to Coach Raymond Watson, and he gave his sentiments, but from your POV, you're in the school with them, you're on the pitch with them. Do you think that they can go all the way?
Well, as a sports master, I would say 100%, 100%, but we're taking it a game at a time, you know, just by watching the training, see how they play. Yeah. I think they're getting better and better each game. So I'm pretty confident of where we'll finish at the end of the season.
Now, as we close tonight's edition of High School Pitchside, remember, football is more than a sport. It's a lifeline of passion, pride, and unity for schools and communities. In the wake of Hurricane Melissa, the road to recovery will be long, but Jamaica has never been a nation to stay down. Now, to the students, teachers, coaches, and families across the island, especially in Western Jamaica, we see your strength, we honor your courage, and we stand with you as you rebuild, both on and off the field. May the spirit of schoolboy football continue to inspire resilience, togetherness, and belief in brighter days ahead. Where it all begins. The quest to become great. Inspired by those who went before them, these 4 boys dream of playing in the ISSA schoolboy football competitions.
Will you score this for Casey? Will you score? It's a shot, it's a goal!
And it's a shot, and it's a goal! And Casey has won the Manning Cup, and they will play Clarendon College in the Olivia Shield.
Hey everybody, I'm Yendi, and this is Odyssey with Yendi. In this space, we connect with some of your favorite people as they share their journeys. Here we have some unfiltered conversations as we deep dive into their inspirations, motivations, and experiences to inspire our own life journey.
Where it all begins. The quest to become great. Inspired by those who went before them, these 4 boys dream of playing in the ISSA schoolboy football competitions.
Will you score this for Casey? Will you score? It's a shot, it's a goal!
And it's a shot, and it's a goal! And Casey has won the Manning Cup, and they will play Clarendon College in the Olivia Shield. And that's what you love to see. They may be rivals, but the camaraderie is what it's all about. Can't wait for the final.
When the bus them man, I want to watch my son play finals on CBM, you know.
But mums, you can't watch it on CBM website, man.
Score! My son score! My son score! My son score! My son score!
Greatness begins here.
Let's delve deep into the issues. we'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins, and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Looking at